So today is day 8. It's the day that I have had my cleanse, my first cleanse. So I just wanted to give you an update on what that was, the experience of it. So it started at 7 a.m. Each day of mine starts at 7 a.m. So at 7, I was given this herbal drink, and pretty much almost immediately, or within like 15 minutes, it starts your stomach gargling. And I think the best way to describe it is it induces sort of like a mini food poisoning, right? So you have diarrhea, you might even have vomiting. I had a bit of vomiting too. And the whole point is to clear out your system from an Ayurvedic perspective. From your chest up, these are all kapha. These are usually kapha organs. So if you throw up, it means that you have some kapha type toxins that have built up, or some kapha imbalances. And even they had said to me, they're like, you may throw up, you may not, let's see. And in fact, I did. So I guess I had some kapha blockages going on. And then from your chest down to your navel, those are all pitta organs. So your digestive tract is considered pitta. So that's the diarrhea. And I guess the way I would describe it is, like I said, like food poisoning. In the beginning, it would be like, you'd go a little bit, and then there'd be like a little break and you'd feel perfectly fine. And then you'd go a little bit, and a little bit like that. And then I would say towards the end of that time, so mine lasted from about 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. Towards the end of that time, I felt it was just like a more consistent bad feeling, if that makes sense. Like you're just going, or you're cramping, and that's just how it feels. I'd say the difference between a food poisoning, session versus this is that it definitely felt far more clearing, and that there was more gunk coming out, right? Like it wasn't your just like typical looking like loose stools or vomit. So I especially felt towards the end, it was, whatever, I don't know, grime, gunk that is built up in you, that was definitely coming out. And the vomit that I had, it wasn't really like food, because I hadn't eaten anything today. And it was more like mucus, like saliva-y, mucusy. Some of the little bits from that drink were coming out. And there were times where like when you're throwing up and you're kind of like heaving, it was like that, but it was like more intense. Like there were sounds coming out of me that I've never heard. Like I sounded like some type of like pterodactyl. Like it was pulling from deep, like, and I couldn't control that sound or anything. It was like roaring to come out. And I guess just to be, I'm already being unfiltered, but to be even more unfiltered, right? Like sometimes it's happening at the same time. Like thank God I had a little bucket there, but you just can't control it. And other fun things, like I'm in India, so like the power kept going off and on. I mean, that's not that big of a deal. Like the lights would just go on and off, but that's not that big of a deal. But my toilet was not refilling. So in between throwing up, or sometimes while I was throwing up, I was like filling up the tank, either with the bidet, or like I would fill a bucket and like pour it in. So that was some added fun, I would say. And I think maybe a word of advice to other people is maybe consider if you would want to have some support around. I think that's probably the best advice. I think it would probably be better to have someone around. I felt fine. I wasn't, too phased. I think I've specifically had food poisoning by myself. I live alone. I take care of myself, so I'm used to certain things. And, I think also the knowledge of like, this is going to pass, right? Like they had said to me, they're like, most of it, you should feel mostly fine by 2 p.m. and that you will feel tired in the day. So I mostly finished earlier, actually, for me. But obviously I have felt quite tired and like a bit weak. They also gave me this warm water to drink. It's the same sort of Kerala warm water that you get at like true Kerala restaurants, and this is the type of water that I drink every day when I'm at the center. So it has like some cardamom, something called Sariva Manjistha in there, and then maybe something else. And it's always like lukewarm, and it has a pink color, so that's really unique, and that's normal. Like it's not, water hasn't gone off. So I was like sipping on that. I was told to drink that every 15 minutes. I did my best to do that. I didn't always get it at 15 minutes, but whenever I could. And sometimes you're just on the toilet, so you can't do anything. I was also given this like rice soup. It was basically like the rice water. And this is a different type of rice. It's like a reddish rice. And so the soupy part is a bit thicker. And I think it's called like Navara or something type of rice. I might be wrong, but it's very nutritious. It's a very different type of rice. And they put a bit of pink, you put a bit of pink rock salt in there. So I was drinking the broth sometimes. I was told to drink it like when I started to feel tired, but truthfully in those moments, like I was just like stuck to the toilet. So I couldn't really get off the toilet to get up and do that. And yeah, so when I was done, and I guess the other thing, like while this is going on, like you're like sweating, you're hot, you're like all the normal stuff that happens when you have food poisoning. And so, you know, I was basically like half naked. I was just like, I ripped my clothes off because it was so sweaty. I felt so disgusting. I mean, it's just me in the room, so it's fine. But it was necessary. And I have been dying to take a shower since then. It's about 4 p.m. now, but I still don't really have enough energy to do that. Like I'm okay if I'm just like lying on the bed, and obviously my mind is here, I'm clear, I'm speaking, but I did get up thinking like, oh, I'll take a shower, but I realized I'm just like too weak, and if I do, I might like faint or something. Not faint, but I think I could slip or something, you know, like, and there's no real rush, right? There's nowhere I need to go. So I'm just taking it easy and just chilling in bed and having some water. What else did I want to talk about? I talked about the food. I think that's all. If I think of something, then I'll add another video, but that's been my experience with my first cleanse. Obviously, leading up to this, I've had a week full of other treatments. So Abhyanga, which is oil massage. I've had these like medicated milk baths. I've had Shirodhara, which is a medicated, it can be anything, but this is a medicated decoction. Sometimes it's oil, sometimes it's medicated milk, and it's poured over the top of your forehead. And also receiving like these herbal supplements and all of this along the way. And that first phase is to help bring the toxins out of the body to make it easier when you do cleanse. And so I would say like this first week has been a breeze, right? Like you're just getting massage, and it's not like a super deep tissue massage. It's not supposed to be. So it's, you know, mostly relaxing. You're getting massage, you're getting really healthy food. It's actually very similar to the food that I eat anyways. So that actually has been really validating that I've been, you know, following an appropriate diet for the most part. So yeah, my first week has been smooth. I'm not saying that everyone else's first week will be smooth. You know, typically they say that like you can get emotional. And now that I say that, like, I think after like, you know, I think I was done. I think I realized, okay, I think I'm done. I think I can like sit and chill. You know, I don't know, you just start crying, and not because like you're sad or anything. It's just like tears of whatever emotion experience. Like I didn't feel like, oh my God, I'm sad or I'm lonely. It wasn't anything like that. It was just part of the experience. And I was like, okay, well, this is also part of the release. Like I have thrown up, I've gone to the bathroom, I have sweated out my pores, you know, my eyes, probably need to release some stuff too. I mean, my nose, I did have to blow my nose at one point, and it was, you know, just a bit not horrible, but there's still some stuff in my nose. So yeah, that's been my experience with my first week of Panchakarma. Not saying that this would be your experience, but this has just been mine. So I wanted to make a quick video to add on to the video I made post-cleanse. This is a day later. And just to say how I feel, obviously at the end of that day I was, quite weak, and I have a lot more energy today. I'm still a bit tired. I don't have like tons of energy, but I have enough energy. My mind is active and all that's fine. But every time I eat, my body gets really tired, and that's just because my Agni is low. Now that my whole system has been cleared out, your digestive system is a bit weak and tender. Like, imagine if you've had food poisoning. Then afterwards, like, it takes a bit of time to bounce back. But otherwise, I'm fine. I feel surprisingly, I feel lighter. I feel happier, which, I'm pretty content anyways, but I'm just surprised by this. I guess you empty things out and then you just feel better. So yeah, that's just a little addendum.